Hi, welcome to the class. We'll start with fundamentals. I know sometimes fundamentals can seem a bit boring and it's tempting to skip to the fun part. But the fun part will be even more fun if you master the fundamentals right. It will be your base for the future knowledge about typography, even if you already know most of the definitions or classification methodologies. With a solid foundation, you will be able to classify a typeface or recognize their origin, understand their characteristics and what they represent. Their application will be much easier to determine. Classification will help you to combine typefaces better in the future. In the first chapter, we will cover two parts. Classification part, where I will show you how to classify typefaces based on form principles. And in fundamentals part, we'll go through few important definitions and of course the type anatomy. I will try to explain the crucial things about elements and definitions, so it will be easier to follow in the later chapters. Classification teaches us how to look at typefaces through the lens of form, history, and visual aesthetics. Font classification is not an easy task, not because of lack of understanding by designers, but because of the different standards influenced by geographical location and language through the history. Then, with the rise of internet and web typography, classification became even more daunting task. Comparing books and modern online resources, it is yet more obvious how classification is almost everywhere different. With the rise of type foundries on the web, classification became even more simplified or just diverse. To solve this puzzle, we need to take a step back into history. Over the years, typography enthusiasts have developed various systems to define type categories and their subgroups. But broadly speaking, we can classify most typefaces into four basic groups: those with serifs, those without serifs, scripts, and decorative styles. But if we look at the historical classification, detailed distinction of serif typefaces was made by French Maximilien Vaux, where we have four main subcategories. German DIN classification puts emphasis on black-letter typefaces, where we have five subcategories. And British standards put focus on sans serif typefaces, where we have four main subcategories. These three classifications follow the same structure, which is based on historic evolution of a typeface, with some subtle variations and differences. You can find these classification systems in typography history and they are also taught in school, but in practice they are rarely used efficiently. Although the historic classification when mastered is quite effective, but for the most design practitioners and beginners, it makes it quite confusing. For example, what makes a fresh new typeface and an old style typeface? Or other typeface that is from 1800, a modern typeface? Different ways of naming those groups and their subgroups brings a lot of confusion. Furthermore, when we examine